Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU. Hello, beautiful people. It is another episode and another reason to absolutely love your HBCU. I am joined by the amazing Deshire Clark by way of North Carolina Central University. Miss Clark, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am amazing. So I'm glad I did not ask you this before we started recording because then it wouldn't have the same umph to it. The first thing I see, anyone who is not watching, by the way, find your what's it called? Your devices, go to YouTube. I love my HBCYOU. Search for us. Start watching Deshire Clark right now on our podcast. Okay, she's got first gen ish on her shirt.
hmm
Break it down to me. And I never watched Blackish, so if this is a play on Blackish that I should know, shoot me. I never watched a single minute of it. Where are we getting the first gen ish from?
Yeah, so actually, this shirt was given to me by the advisor of the first gen department. So, a lot of the times on our campus of North Carolina Central University, we have departments that pour into the first gen students. So, for this shirt, it was kind of just one of those things where he was like, "Hey, we have all of these shirts," and I even made some of them where you have to like iron the letters down. So it just was gifted to us as being first gen students. I actually didn't watch Blackish either, so I don't have any like episodes, but I really like the shirt.
I love the shirt. I absolutely love the shirt. That's why I had to
Yeah.
point it out when I saw it on you. I think it's beautiful. I think the colors go well together. I love the way in your response you made sure you gave credit to the amazing humans at North Carolina Central and the way they pour into you. When
Yeah.
you say they like to pour into us, give me, other than this lovely shirt that they've given you to wear, what comes to mind? What example would you give somebody that would make them jealous for not having picked North Carolina Central University as their institution? Go.
I would tell them our community. What makes us different from other universities is that we actually like value and care for each other. Like a lot of different HBCUs are big, like and they're growing and they're getting bigger. And North Carolina Central University is also a big HBCU, but we're to the point where like we are tight knit. Like pretty much anybody that I see on this campus, they wave to me, I wave to them. If we are just walking down the stairs or coming to our room, we're bound to see someone we know. So I think what makes my HBCU stand apart is our community and the way that we truly love each other. Like we don't say just like, oh, because we're HBCU, we're family. Because we go to the same school, we're family. We show it every day with our truth and service and just the way that we carry ourselves on our campus community. So that's what
So
makes my campus different.
I smiled when you started to say that because, Deshaya, can I be very honest with you? I've
What?
heard that exact same response from so many people at different HBCUs. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
really?
Deshaya. So, but let
Oh,
me tell you
really?
what. Let me
Okay.
tell you what's. Listen. Let me tell you what's beautiful about it, though. Hear me out. This is what I think is really really good about this. Everyone who answers that way thinks they're giving such a unique response. And that tells me that there is a connecting bond between all of the HBCUs that Deshaya at North Carolina Central, Ashira at Spelman, names are escaping me, Derek Lewis at Houston Tillotson, they're all giving this response will lets you know that there's something about attending an HBCU that you're going to feel that yours is the only HBCU that provides that. I think that is special. So I wasn't saying that for you to think you gave me an ordinary answer. No. I was saying that because I'm like, she really thinks that's special. And it is. It really is. But then it's special at every other HBCU that I get the
HBCU,
exact
yeah.
response. I love that. So I've been sharing the, I don't know the exact statistics. So anyone that's like, well, Dr. T, that's not the exact statistic, that's fine. But there is a study that UNCF did not too long ago, reminding a lot of us that there's so many high school students that still don't know what an HBCU is. So you get 33 seconds. I don't know why I picked 33, Deshaya, but 33 seconds to tell a high school student at South Bend, Indiana. That's where Deshaya is from, by the way. At South Bend, Indiana, tell them why they must pick North Carolina Central for their matriculation in college if they decide to go to college.
All right. Three, two, one. So you should pick North Carolina Central University for a lot of different reasons, but the first one being that North Carolina Central University is very similar to South Bend, Indiana. The surroundings, the environment is very similar. So, for example, you go to a university that's in Cali, it's a whole different environment. Like it's coming from somewhere cold and going to somewhere hot. In North Carolina and in Indiana, there's some days where there's warm. It could be warm one day and it could be cold tomorrow. That's an Indiana and a North Carolina thing. Another reason why you should come to North Carolina Central University is because, like I stated before, this is one of the smaller HBCUs. And when we come in from a small city like South Bend, Indiana, sometimes going to one of the bigger HBCUs can be intimidating or afraid. You can be afraid to do it. So I say if you want to start off, or even just like if you want to get into HBCU culture and really see the culture, I think that North Carolina Central University is the perfect place because it's not too preppy like some of the HBCUs that we know of. For example, like Spelman or Clark Atlanta, like the ones that are really known. But it's one of those HBCUs that absolutely want to see you do more and want to pour into you. And because they're so knit and small, there's so many resources that we can go and we can get, just by this being a small campus. And a lot of people know people. So I know people that know people, people around people that know people, and it's very easy to get involved. It's very easy to get your name out there, and it's very easy to adjust with a city like this being from South Bend, Indiana. When I came down here, I had no one here, and another reason why you should come is because I even have took the time to pour into South Bend, Indiana students myself. I've had people come from South Bend, Indiana to tour here and get a presentation by me. I've had two people come after me actually attend right now North Carolina Central University from South Bend, Indiana. So I think my work prove it, and our campus community as a whole prove it. And that's why you should come to North Carolina Central University.
Are you one of the student ambassadors on campus?
No.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I'm not.
Listen, when they watch this, they are going to literally reach out to you. I think that we should get North Carolina Central to do a video, like a 30-second video of you quite literally telling people why they should attend North Carolina Central University, because there's a warmth and excitement and authenticity when you're actually saying they need to pick North Carolina Central. Deshaya, you are a criminal justice major.
I am.
So I don't want to do what everybody else does and assume that you're going to law school. I don't want to assume
Yeah.
that. But if
Okay.
I do make the assumption, am I right? Did you say no? Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. So tell me. Tell me, what do you want to do with a criminal justice major?
So it's probably going to be a wild card, and it's probably going to shock you because you probably have never heard this before. But I actually want to be a child clinical psychologist in the criminal justice field. So I started off as a criminal justice major my freshman year. I went into my sophomore year and decided I wanted to double major at that point. So I was a major in criminal justice and psychology. I got kind of into the coursework and the course load and talking to my advisors, and I realized, well, hey, since you started this in your sophomore year, if you continue to pursue it, You might not graduate at the time that you want. There's going to be this factor, that factor. So I changed it back to criminal justice. And I decided that I wanted to go ahead and pursue my master's in psychology. So that way I have a background in both. And it would make me a stronger asset to any job that I apply to if I have that criminal justice degree and then I'm pursuing a master's. It's kind of showing like, okay, she knows the system and she knows psychology. And I want to intertwine the two. I've always been very passionate about bringing the two worlds together because I think that a lot of people forget that they play a part together. I think a lot of people separate them like farly apart, but I think that the criminal justice system and the way that psychology works, I think that they're very similar. And I think we need more people to kind of take that initiative and think like that because, like I said, they're a lot more, they collide a lot more than people would think on the surface level.
So I want to get into, because I know that you're a mental health advocate, you are a youth advocate with regards to engagement and advocacy, but I do want to get into your thoughts on the rise of suicides in the United States of America. I want to get your thoughts on the nature of child psychology in the US and mental health. But before I do that, I am going to treat you to our amazing rapid fire segment where I ask you as many questions as possible in 67 seconds. Are you ready?
Any random questions?
Girl, as random as they come.
Ooh, okay.
If so, the truth is, if you've watched our podcast before, they're not as random. So
Okay. Okay.
you got
Okay.
this. You got this. I want to ask all of the questions, Deshaya. So give me quick responses, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I could be a yapper, so I'm gonna try to.
I love the yapper side of you. So don't tone that
Okay.
down. Just tone it down for the 67 seconds. That's it.
Okay.
Okay? All
Okay.
right. On the clock. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Outgoing, funny, smart.
You're at your college graduation. Who do you want as your commencement speaker?
Kamala Harris.
Everyone's picking Kamala Harris. Okay, Kamala, you're gonna be busy. What's your unpopular opinion about HBCUs?
Ooh, I don't have one. I don't have one.
You don't have one? No worries, no worries, no worries. So far, so good in college. Give me the song that best describes your college experience.
Yeah, yeah. It's a party in the USA.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, so shout out your favorite professor or person at your HBCU.
Professor Hand, she is a English teacher, but she is also Gen 1 Legacy's advisor. Shout out Professor Amara Hand.
What's the message you would give your president that you haven't shared with her yet?
Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. We love you, Shalexis. Thank you for everything that you do for us.
That is beautiful. I was not
That's
expecting
exactly
that.
that is exactly what I would tell her. She's so strong. She's a strong woman.
That is beautiful. I hope she get listen, we're going to package this clip and send this to her because I want her to hear what you just said. I think that is
Yeah, I
beautiful.
thank
And
you. Yeah.
listen, you saw us out through the rapid fire, so that's beautiful. Listen,
Okay.
Jaya, you are from South Bend, Indiana. You are in North Carolina at North Carolina Central University. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, second to Alabama, North Carolina has got the most HBCUs in one state. I want you to give us your college selection journey. How do you go from South Bend, Indiana? And I actually know where that is. I'm really excited. But how do you go from South Bend, Indiana to North Carolina Central University?
Yeah, and everybody asks me this question when I tell them that I'm from South Bend, Indiana. But so how I and it's really like it was meant to be because honestly, my auntie, she's the only other person in my family that pursued a degree. And she lived in Charlotte. So when I was thinking about colleges and going to tour colleges, this was around my senior year that she was starting to move. And so I wanted to be closer to her. We were already super close, but I wanted to stay close to her because she was now leaving Indiana for the first time ever. ever. So once she did that, we kind of like my first tour. She brought me out here. We like got from on the road from Charlotte, and I toured twice before I actually committed. But what really drew me to North Carolina was the, like I said, how small but how connected they were. Like when I got here, a lot of things were different than what they are now, and I say that in a positive way. But like a lot of things were different than they are now, and it really brought me to the university. I think if I would have picked somewhere like, we don't even talk about that school actually, but if I would have picked anywhere else, then I feel like it would have been too big for me or too much for me. And even like just seeing other universities on social media, I'm looking at it, I'm just like, I think it's so amazing that they're doing that, but I don't think that I could handle all of that. I think I would be so overstimulated. Like, and I think that that's just what really drew me to North Carolina Central University was just seeing how small they were, but how connected they were. And everybody thinks that this is a big university, but I feel like compared to other universities, this is one of the fairly smaller HBCUs. And so, yeah, what drew me was not only my auntie, but just how small and how connected I felt when I first toured. And fun fact, I also didn't tour many more HBCUs. Like after I toured this one, I was like, I'm good.
This is it for me. So
Yeah.
I've actually been to North Carolina Central University before, and do you agree with me that it has its own energy? Like I stepped
Yes.
on your campus and you said something earlier on. You said a lot of people think it's a very big institution, and it's actually not that big. But
Yeah.
there's an energy that NCCU has that makes you feel that it is larger than life. And I kind of I felt warm and fuzzy when I was on your campus, and you're not
Yeah.
lying. Your president is a rock star. Like she literally is a rock star. So,
Yeah.
anyone listening to us, definitely check out North Carolina Central University. I think it is worth. I would say this about a lot of the institutions, but I actually mean it about North Carolina Central. I don't mean it about all of them, but I mean it about North Carolina Central. Deshaya, I just heard myself. What is wrong with me? Like I literally just said that. That is problematic, Tosin. Um, Deshaya, I said I wanted to talk about mental health.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just talk about mental health in the Black community. As a country, and especially younger generations, we're experiencing higher suicide rates. And just even if we don't go all the way to suicide, higher mental health crises that we have not seen for
Yeah.
years. As somebody who wants to go into child psychology, how does it make you feel that we are living in a world whereby your generation generally feels destabilized and it is affecting their mental health? What is your relationship with that as somebody who plans on going into that industry?
So I think the struggles that we have as a generation is why I want to go into the field. I think that it just branches from it branches from so much. It branches from us being like, if we're talking about my generation, I would say like us seeing how the world has just evolved over the years, and then us having to go through the big pandemic with COVID, and then just us now being in college. I think that when we were growing up, the world was just changing and it was a lot of moving parts. I think that for our generation, it's like we haven't got a break. Like we haven't got a chance to just like our probably our probably best memories are somewhere left in 2016 at this point. So I feel like it's like you have to want to pour into that next generation so that they don't feel this way, so that it's not so heavy for them. We don't have enough people, like I stated before, we don't have enough people that are pouring into the next generation. They like to say like the generations get worse by generation, but that changes if one generation just starts to put in some work, or one generation wants to see some change. And I just think that we are just honestly products of the environment that is around us. Like, and when I say environment, I mean the way that people grow up, I mean the United States, I mean in general, like everything that we've been through as a whole, it's just it takes a lot on us to even, we have a whole different, like, we grew up a entire different way. Like, some people are not even at maturity level because they didn't get to go to high school, or some people come to college and it's like they don't know everything they should know because their high school experience was all online. So it's like us, just as people, we're just very different from previous generations because previous generations grew up differently than us. And I think, as me being someone who is going into the psychology and criminal justice field, I really want to pour into the next generation so that they can continue to do that. Like, if one person starts and it just continues to go on, and it makes a domino effect. And I know that sounds like fairy tale, I know that sounds like it can't be done, but I'm a strong believer in faith, and I'm a strong believer in that anything you want, anything you put your mind to, you can do it. So I truly think that me pouring into the next generation is going to be beneficial. Another reason why I'm really passionate about it too is because all of my sisters are younger. I am the oldest out of my sisters. One of my sisters, my youngest sister, is 10, and she's the next generation. And so I want to be that person to pour into her. I want her to know that, like, hey, we went through this, so y'all don't have to go through that. So I think that just being a person that wants to see better from the world as a whole, it has to start with someone. And even if that one person is trying their best, at least they're doing their best that they can. At least they're doing the best that they can do, and that's all that you can do, is be the best that you can be and pour into others.
So I wrote a lot as you were talking, and
Okay.
there was a moment you said that a lot of things are just heavy around us, not just your
Yeah.
generation. And this might be an unfair question to ask you, so if you don't have a response, that's perfectly okay. Where do you think the heaviness is coming from?
I think it's coming from a little bit of everything. I'll say for me, I'll speak for myself because I can't speak for others.
Of course.
But for me personally, the heaviness of just the world right now, the heaviness of me having to go from being online to now being in college and not really getting that full experience in high school, the heaviness of just seeing things that we're seeing, like, the world has never been like this before. And I think we're the generation that's coming from, teenage years into adulthood, and it's like, wait, we're walking into adulthood, and there's so much going on. And I think that that's just what's so heavy. Like, at least for me and my friends, like, we have these type of conversations where we're like, school just really did it to me today. Like, we just breathe in and out because it's like, on top of what we're seeing on social media or in the news, then we still have to keep going with our everyday lives and keep going, even though we know that the world want to see us down. So it's like it's all coming from just how we grew up and how we are currently having to navigate the world in the way that it is right now. And no one had to navigate the world in the way that it is right now. And we're navigating it in a season where we're coming from teenage to adulthood. So I think that the generation before us, they didn't have to necessarily do that. Like, they did have to go from teen to adulthood, of course, but not in an environment, in a government that's like this, like, hectic. So yeah,
So as you
that's
were
all I
talking,
said.
I empathize a lot with your generation because you're not wrong. Well, I don't think you're wrong about anything you're saying. And the only thing I would add is I think your generation uniquely has to transition while living in a fishbowl where everybody is watching your every move, thanks to social
Social
media,
media.
thanks to
Mm-hmm.
AI. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how are you not in constant comparison? People could tell you all day long, just focus on yourself, just look at what you're doing. But the reality is, you've grown up in a fishbowl where you're constantly A, being watched, and B, saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. How does
Yeah,
that not have an effect on you? You also said that, which is true, every generation is different. Tell me
absolutely.
what you love about your generation, Deshaya, because
I
you
was
seem
just
like
about to
very
say it.
positive. Yes,
Yeah.
tell me what you love.
What I love about my generation is that we are fighters. Like, we are the generation that's not going to settle. Like, we're gonna go for everything that we want to go for. Like for example, HBCU college rates have went up in the past 2 3 years. Like my class, I know my class of 2027, like since 2023 HBCU rates have went up, HBCUs ratings as like HBCUs have been up. Like I think that my generation as a whole are just fighters. Like we don't take no for an answer. We don't yes ma'am. We don't I don't want to say we don't listen, but we don't listen in good ways though. Like in good ways. Like we don't listen.
Yeah,
We
y'all
don't
don't
take
listen. You don't
yeah.
listen.
No, we listen. No, we listen, but it's to an extent. It's like I'm listening if I think it makes sense, but if I don't think it makes sense, then I'm gonna just go try it anyway. Like I think my generation is not afraid. Like I think my generation is the generation that's like, hmm, no, let's be different. Let's do it actually. So I think that's what makes my generation different. It's just we don't listen. We do what we're passionate about. We don't really care too much about what other people think to an extent. And to touch on like what you said about social media, I do think that we are in a world of comparison, in a world of like trying to look like other people, or just comparing yourself to other people, or even just doing things strictly for recognition. I think that has been a big thing in our generation as well. But I think as years go on, that becomes a thing, and as technology get begins to get bigger and bigger, I think that that's something that we kind of can't control. I think that individuals have to control their comparison and the way that they look at social media themselves, because I don't see social media changing anytime soon. But I see people starting to realize that social media is not real. I need people to realize that though. Like, and I can see like people starting to realize that, but social media probably won't change. It'll probably be the same thing for years and years, because technology is gonna keep going, and it's AI is probably gonna get worse. It's just all about how an individual is gonna approach the AI and the social media and the comparison. And comparison is the thief of joy too. So
It
if you're watching
absolutely
this,
is.
don't compare.
And especially when you're comparing yourself to something that's not real, right? Because
Yeah,
um,
absolutely.
it is our perfect or near perfect selves that we show people on social media, not always the raw versions of ourselves. Speaking of your generation not being afraid, I literally was having a conversation with a young gentleman from your generation the other day. Um, and he said, "What a world to be alive, where I go to an HBCU, and for 4 years out of my life, I am going to be a majority minority." I've heard that said before, and I agree. Do you think enough people take advantage of what that means? The reality is, in the United States of America, if my statistics serve me right, Black people still make up only 13% of the population, right? But you step on an HBCU campus and you're in a different world. Like literally, like that's the perfect title for that show is You Are in a Different World.
Different world.
And you're surrounded by people who look like you. How important do you think that is with regards to building one's confidence as a young Black person in the US?
Yeah, so I think that when you go to a college like a HBCU, I think that it builds your confidence. I can speak for myself again. Like when I first got here, it was a culture shock. It was one of those things like, wait, wait. People actually like dance in the field like with instruments. People actually like D9 is real. Like all that stuff was like on social media for me. Like I'm looking like that's not here. Where's that? So when I got here, like the way that my confidence personally went up, like high school me, you couldn't pay me to get on a podcast like this and talk to you at all. Like you couldn't even I didn't even like to talk. I went to a majority white high school. So I was an outcast a lot in my high school. So and I drove 30 minutes to school every day just to like be in a different at a different high school. So it was one of those things where it's like when I came here, my style changed, the way that I carried myself changed, and not in negative ways, but just like the way that I felt, because I was around other women that's like, oh, like she looked nice. Wait, I need her outfit. Like that is so cute. And then you see this person and you're like, oh, well, everybody here when they're introducing themselves, they say I am. And it's like, oh, so you okay, well, I am Deshaya Lanice Clark. Like, and it's like I just felt like so like uplifted and so like confident. I'm like, oh yeah, like they know how to do what I want to do. So I'm gonna look at and see like how I can maneuver my style in the way that like stay true to yourself still, but build your confidence. Like you see how they doing it a little bit, like try to get like that just a little bit, but still be yourself. And I think that it really boosted my confidence. Like I said, my parents said it, my family said it. Being here really has changed me. It really has developed me into a young woman. And I'm it's a bittersweet feeling because I'm graduating in 2027, so I'm leaving soon. And it's really just the growth that I made even from my freshman year to right now. Like I said, you couldn't in 2023, you couldn't pay me to get on a pod. You couldn't pay me any amount of money to get on a podcast and speak. In 2023, you couldn't pay me to do a pageant. In 2023, you couldn't pay me to start a first generation organization and do any of this. So I think that just the way that a HBCU empowers you, it shows you like you're not an outcast. You belong. Like I feel like that's what HBCUs. That's where the confidence come. Where it's like you're not an outcast. Like you're not different. You're the same as all of these people. You just had to change your environment. You had to go be around people that want to pour into you, that want to see you do better, and that want to build your confidence. Because unfortunately, as Black women and men, we're in a world where that is not always wanted to be presented. They want to erase that. They want to take that from you. So you have to go somewhere where you are empowered and where they value who you are as a person.
Do you think so I want to talk to you about Gen 1 legacy in a second, but
Okay.
before I do you think that graduating, every single senior that plans to go to college, I don't care if they go to an HBCU for one semester and transfer, do you think everyone should consider an HBCU?
I think everyone should consider a HBCU. I genuinely think that even if you're not Black, you should consider a HBCU. I think that it will show you a different culture. It will show you, and if you don't like it, then you have the option to go and transfer. But I really think that this world is something that we truly can't explain. Like you said, it's a different world. Like it's something that you have to just go and experience. Like I tell my sisters, if you don't want to go to college, you don't have to go to college, but I need you to at least like if you don't want to stick it out, don't stick it out, but I need you to go try. I need you to see if you like it. If it's not central, I guess, but I need you to go try one of them. Go try any of them. And I think that that's just what I would tell anybody to go try HBCU. Like if my mom could do it, I would tell her like start over and go to a HBCU. Like, but my mom also had me and this is like off the topic just a little, but my mom had me when she was 19 years old. So she didn't even get to graduate high school to even try to pursue college. So I feel like when I do get my degree and as I'm doing all of this, I'm not only doing it for myself, like I'm doing it for her. She sacrificed all her teenage and her young adult years to raise a child. And now that child has bloomed into something amazing. And I want to show people like, just because she got pregnant young doesn't mean that she didn't do her job well. And that just pours back into, like I said, me wanting to help other people, me wanting to pour into other people. I just think that all comes back to you have to go to an HBCU. They will build you in a way that you will feel so welcome. And even if you don't like it, at least you can say, hey, I tried. And I can guarantee that you will have at least one experience that you will remember for the rest of your life. If you go to HBCU for a year, I guarantee there will be one thing that you will not forget.
I've got a tough one for you, Deshaya, before we get to Gen 1 legacy.
Okay.
So you are the poster child for, listen, Miss Ambassador of the Year for North Carolina Central University. So this really might be a tough one for you. If you could change your college experience so far at North Carolina Central, what would happen differently?
If I could change my North Carolina Central University, so kind of like if it was like freshman year all over again.
It was freshman year all over again, and a few things could be done differently. And it doesn't have to be by you, it could just be the university itself. Or if you want to put it on yourself, it could be you. what would you change about the experience? So it's hindsight is 2020. What would you do differently about your college experience so far? And thankfully, you've still got
Um,
one more year, but what would you do
yeah.
differently?
So what I would do differently is get involved right out the gate, kind of. So my freshman year, I honestly was a little homesick. I did all the like the partying and the having fun, but when it came to like wanting to actually put myself out there, I was very homesick. Like I wanted to be home almost every weekend. I
Mm.
had a roommate that was close to home, so she would actually go home every weekend. So like you know how you have like when you have a roommate and it's your freshman year, you kind of want to like talk to them about stuff and like see if y'all on the same page or if y'all both just like be there for each other. And I had a roommate that kind of I don't want to say she wasn't there for me because she was there for me, but she would go home a lot. So it was like I was kind of by myself a lot. And I think that if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would get involved because getting involved would take my mind off of like, oh, I miss my mom or oh, I miss my sisters. It would have gave me an opportunity to be too busy to kind of think about other things. And I didn't start getting involved until no, not my sophomore year, the spring semester of my freshman year. So spring 2023, yeah, spring 23 is when I got like involved and really started like putting myself out there because I'm like, well, I'm gonna be homesick if I just sit in my room. And that's what everybody was telling me too. They're like, yeah, you gotta get out. You gotta get involved. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. Another thing I would probably do differently is I would run for like a Miss freshman or Miss sophomore, Miss junior or Miss senior. Like I would run for something like that. I think that looking back at it, like I'm kind of sad that now I no longer have like an opportunity because my time will be up. And they just did elections for the last year, but I think that, and by the way, my class is in great hands with our current Miss Senior that was just elected. But I think that if I had an opportunity, like I would probably definitely do that. Just because I love the pageant scene, and then I love representation, and I love like giving back to my class, the community, whatever it may be. And I think that I would have done that for sure. I was just too scared back then to do it.
So you said get involved, and you're not the first person to say that. In fact,
Yeah.
oh Lord, her name is escaping me, but I recall one of our former alumni guests. She currently works at ESPN, and she had mentioned that she would tell all of the kids, get off the phone with your boyfriends, get involved as much as possible with all of the things really, really early on. So, Deshaya, I think anybody who meets you, even though you've got shy in your name, anyone who meets you is not going to think you're a shy person. You're somebody who is very
Yeah.
vocal, somebody who knows how to use her voice. What would have gotten you to be a little bit more involved early on? And the reason why I'm asking you is I don't think you're wrong. I think the earlier you get involved, you find your tribe a little bit faster, or you
Yeah.
find who is not part of your tribe and you quickly move on to the next one, and you just feel like you're part of something that
Yeah.
that grounds you where you are. You feel, okay, I belong here the earlier you start. Using yourself as an example, somebody who was homesick a lot and wasn't as involved until her second semester, what do you think we, those of us who love HBCUs, who work at HBCUs, what could we do differently to get the Deshire Clarks of the world a little bit more involved early on? Is there anything we can do?
Honestly, I think it depends on the individual, the student. I think the
Okay.
student has because I've had friends that got involved like right off the gate. I've had friends who came in and now are Miss NCCU. Like I've had friends that like came straight out the gate and went guns blazing ready. And I think it's not a university thing because they give us those opportunities. They have those career fairs, they have those major fairs, they have student org fairs or anything like that. And it's like they give you the opportunity, but you have to like really, really want it and really like not be afraid. I know for most first gen students, they are afraid. They're like, I'm in this whole new world, this new environment, and I don't know where to start. So I think that it's nothing that like admin or instructors or anything that anyone can do. I think it's a personal thing. I think the student has to want to come in just and not be shy and just want to just go straight in and get ready. Yeah.
All right, it's about that time. Talk to us. Gen 1 Legacy, what is it about?
Yes.
Tell us why
Okay.
you were inspired to start it. Give us all the details on Gen 1 Legacy.
Okay. So, Gen 1 Legacy is a first generation student org. We are basically here to tailor to the needs of first generation students. So, whether that be scholarships, whether that be helping them figure out career paths, whether that be just simple stuff like resume building or a LinkedIn workshop, or just trying to see like what type of attire to wear to certain events. Like, we are basically passionate about giving first generation students those type of opportunities because a lot of the times when we come in, we're like, okay, my mom didn't go to school, my dad didn't go to school, nobody in my family went to school. So like, how do I do this? And when you come to college, there's so many high expectations when you get here. Like sometimes your first semester is like, okay, they was a little lenient, but you have those professors that's like expecting you to know things, expecting you to know what to wear. If you have a speech or something in class, you have those professors that's like, make sure you wear business professional. And then you're like, wait, what is business professional? I just thought business. Or you go, what's they say business casual, and you're like, what's the difference between business professional and business casual? Like, so we basically are just there for those little things that first generation students need. What inspired me to start it is actually I was also a co-founder of another first gen org on my campus, and it's first generation student advisory council, and I was the first president to serve in that role ever. And that was with the trio department, and their and all of the stuff that they did basically like gave me motivation to want to start another org so that people could actually like get this but in a smaller, more intimate type of community. So with Trio, they're a really big program. They're like wide all over the United States on high school and universities. So what when I started Gen 1 Legacy, my biggest thing was to have first gen, but to have it be more intimate, more small. Like we actually know each other. Like we see each other on campus, we can actually hang out. It's not like just broad. So one of the first things that I implemented was like having a cohort, having only to like 10 to 12 people actually be like certified members so that you can get to know them and you can pour into them. And then of course all first generation students are invited to every event that we have. But when it comes to the organization, it started off by just being really small because we wanted to have it be more of a space where people can actually talk, people can actually speak how they want to speak and not feel like, oh, I'm announcing it to everybody and I'm embarrassed. So I just think that Gen 1 Legacy really came from just my passion and my heart. There was no like book that said like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. It was literally one day I woke up and I'm like, I need to do something. Like and people always reach out to me. Like I think early on I became like a role model for first gen students because I always pushed it so hard. Like every time that I was telling someone about myself, I'd be like, I am a first generation college student from South Bend, Indiana. And like I think as I started to push the first gen and I started to tell people that, but then they also see me and they see me getting involved, they're like, well, if I have questions, I might just DM her. So it started from just like people DMing me and asking me about tips and things that I should do. And I'm like, I get all these texts. Why don't I just like start a org? Like, why don't I just start something and then just invite everybody? And that way, I don't have to send a billion texts and everybody can know information at once. And I think like it just being on campus and people seeing me as like first gen and just like an ambassador kind of for first gen, it was like, okay, well, I might as well start something now because everybody's coming to me as like a first gen, like they need help. So, and I think still to this day, like people who aren't involved in GOL or in first generation student advisory council, they still reach out to me and ask me for first gen advice, for helps, for tips, anything of that nature. So I think what to sum it up, what really started me starting Gen 1 Legacy was just my passion, my heart, and then already the representation that I had for first generation students on campus.
Is it currently just on Central's campus?
Yes, and I do want to expand it. I am trying to get into expanding it before I graduate. So I do want it to be like chapters at different universities, and that is the project that is underway.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Deshaya, is there you I love your energy, by the way. I hope
Thank
one of these
you.
days I get to meet you in real life. Like
Yeah.
you are the jolt of energy I need on any given day, to be extremely honest with you. Is there anything that you're like, wait, hold on, why didn't you ask me about this? Or why didn't we talk about this? What would it be? Bless our audience with it.
I don't think I have anything. Why didn't you ask me about? I don't know. I don't think I have anything. You
So
you 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 kind of covered a few things that I was like, okay, no, but yeah, I don't. You asked some good questions. I don't think you have anything that you haven't really like asked me.
So I do have something that just popped into my head because
Okay,
you are somebody that I want to root for a lot of people, but your energy makes me want to root for you extra hard. So
thank
dream with
you.
me for a hot second. And if you don't have a direct answer, I promise you, Deshaya, it's perfectly fine. But where does Deshaya see herself? If you could dream it, where does Deshaya see herself 5 years from now? I love that she closed her
This-
eyes for a second. I love that.
so I see myself still in North Carolina, hopefully Charlotte, North Carolina. But I see myself as a child clinical psychologist, hopefully getting my doctor's degree around that time, and becoming like Dr. Clark, Dr.
Dr.
Deshaun
Clark.
Clark around that time. But really just I see myself just helping in multiple different ways in the community, whether that be a nonprofit, whether that be a clinical job, whether that be in the criminal justice field. I really just see myself helping and still pursuing higher education.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it is absolutely impossible, especially after they see your first gen-ish shirt, and then they just get captivated by your energy. It's impossible for anyone to be on your podcast platforms and see I love my HBCU question mark, but especially see Deshaya Clark and not love this episode because of her. So please take a moment and like this episode. I hope that I have done my due diligence in getting you to subscribe to I Love My HBCYOU wherever you get your podcasts. But before we leave, Deshaya, please end this episode and leave our audience with one word or short phrase on why you, Deshaya Clark, soon to be Dr. Deshaya Clark, loves HBCUs.
I love HBCUs because HBCUs love us. Oh. And
Deshaya,
y'all might
go for it.
they might have thought of that on the surface level, but you gotta think deeper than that.
Deshaya, it is amazing having this conversation with you. I pray honestly with every fiber of my being that you never lose the joy, the spark that comes with who you are. I really,
Thank
really
you
do.
so much. I enjoyed myself. I am so honored.
I love it. I absolutely love it. To everybody watching us, yours and HBCU love. See you next episode. Bye, Deshaya.
Bye.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.